We saw what you did there. So what does that mean? What are the takeaways from the first full day on the campaign trail for the Democratic ticket? Let's bring in our friend Fox 5 contributor Kevin Walling to talk about all of that. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm going to shy away from the couch commentary.
Thank you.
Just because I think that's dangerous, even though it's a late night show.
But don't you think, though, at this point, like let's leave that in the past. I think it's time to move past what is really not true.
I can neither confirm nor deny
okay, all right.
those reports.
Yeah.
All I know is that playing those shots from the speech yesterday in your home state was pretty spectacular.
The vice president, though, I think she was trying to hold back. She didn't have a great poker face.
She had that little giggle behind her. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about it. Tim Walz, what do we think of the choice?
Incredible choice, right? Was not my first choice. Was not really on anyone's radar screen up until the last week or so.
Yeah.
I think the speech alone yesterday at Temple, he hit it out of the park. They were on the ground in Michigan and Wisconsin. They're heading to Nevada and Arizona later this week. He is the perfect hype man, the perfect surrogate for the vice president, and can carry those messages into key constituencies. $36 million, I think, raised in the first 24 hours since this announcement. The vast majority of them are brand new to the campaign, and the vast majority of those new folks are teachers.
So one of the things that, one of the knocks, I guess, we've heard over the last 24 hours came from Republicans who said the word was Team Trump loved the fact that Vice President Harris didn't choose Governor Josh Shapiro. And a lot of Republicans have said it is evidence that the Democratic Party is not friendly to people of the Jewish faith.
That could not be farther from the truth. Speaking as a Democrat, there's chemistry between Tim Walz and Kamala Harris, and that's what it came down to. All indications are that Sunday meeting between the two of them at the Naval Observatory locked that down. I love Josh Shapiro.
Yeah.
Again, your home state governor in Pennsylvania, doing incredible things. He's become, got some friends that work for him, family members of his that are dear friends. He is going to be president of the United States one day and carry the Democratic banner. This is not about anti-Semitism whatsoever in terms of Kamala Harris's decision.
Especially since Josh Shapiro, I think the one fact people forget about, he's only been governor for 2 years.
That's right, yeah.
In case of Tim Walz, Washington experience in the Congress for 6 years, a two-term governor. There have been some other concerns about him. But really, when you look at the momentum in this race, it is clearly on the Democrat side. And this is one of the few times where you're seeing the Democrats really kind of running not just on issues, but personality.
Yeah, and we used to get beat up and down on crowd size. Now you're seeing, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz beat the crap out of J.D. Vance, especially today, and the former president when it comes to enthusiasm, crowd size, fundraising, as I mentioned. And again, I think there's a new feeling, especially going into Chicago in about a week and a half. This new energy, enthusiasm that's touching all corners of the country. Again, in a town of 70,000 people in Wisconsin, you had an entire arena filled for this ticket. That speaks volumes.
She is making the rounds. This ticket's making the rounds. You mentioned a lot of those swing states that they're going through. I think they had to skip North Carolina because of Debbie. But the former president, I believe he has one rally in Montana. However, there has been, and I think, at least from my perspective being in the media, at what point do we expect the vice president to sit down for an interview and talk really at length about what her plans would be?
Yeah, I suspect that's coming. I think she'll do an interview, long-form interview. I think it's important to hear from her directly on a whole host of issues. She's not shied away from those long-form interviews in the past. I think part of it was I got 2 weeks to figure out my running mate, get this show on the road, change the campaign over, raise all this money, and then I think you'll see those kind of conversations happen. We
had you in here the day that President Biden said he wasn't going to stand for another term, and you had mentioned at the time Roy Cooper out of North Carolina, which I think a lot of people thought that he was really up there on the list. He pulled his name out of the running. North Carolina, though, is one of those states where when you look at Tim Walz, a lot's been said about his hunting past. When you look at some of his other attributes, where does that play well? Is that a Midwestern play, or do you flip states? Could you flip states with a vice presidential candidate in North Carolina? I
think it plays well across the board. I mean, this is a guy who won a re-election in 2016 to Congress in his southern Minnesota district, a district that voted for Donald Trump by 15 points, and he was able to hold on to that district. So this is a guy that can go everywhere. He's got a great progressive background in terms of things he's been able to do in his state that he can also campaign on. So he can go into urban areas. He can go into college campuses. Talk about that record. This guy is someone, he's like America's dad. He can go anywhere.
I believe they said in 2016, Tim Kaine was America's stepdad. What is the difference between the choice of Tim Kaine and Tim Walz?
Well, Tim Kaine can play the harmonica. I don't think Governor Walz can play the harmonica, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay. Well, that among other things. Kevin, good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
And the Final Five is back after this.